What's up, and welcome to Ware Gaming News. My name is Nick, and that right there is Josh. Say hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
How are you this Father's Day? Happy Father's Day to any of the fathers, even though you're listening to this after Father's Day.
Right. I had a great day. I had a delicious steak dinner. I'm not a
Nice.
father, but it was for our father.
Who
and
art in heaven?
no, who are upstairs.
Oh, the big guy upstairs. No, quite literally. Like literally.
Yeah. But yeah, he came back from his you know trip, and we all hung out and had a nice dinner.
That's awesome. I had a bacon burrito for lunch, and that's all I've had to eat today. So,
Oh,
oh no,
okay.
that's not true. And two packets of uh, fruit snacks.
Ah,
So yeah,
not bug
really
snacks.
healthy. Not bug snacks. No bug snacks for me.
Ah,
But this is Where Gaming News, where every week we go through the previous week's news. This always tries to be released on Monday, so it's just kind of a recap of the previous week and all the stuff. And we had quite a lot of things happen this week. The first one
certainly.
was a big bummer to a lot of people, and we can talk about our opinion on it in a second. But Cyberpunk 2077 probably after The Last of Us, one of the most anticipated games of the year, or even more so if you count people who don't play PlayStation.
Yeah.
They made an announcement this week that Cyberpunk 27 has been delayed until November 19th, and here's what they said. We have decided to move the launch of Cyberpunk 2077 from September 17th to November 19th. Those of you who are familiar with the way that we make games know that we won't ship something when it's not ready. Ready when it's done is not just a phrase we say because it sounds right. It's something we believe in. We live by, even when we know we'll take the heat for it. At the same time, we are fully aware that making such a decision costs us your trust, and trading trust for additional time is one of the hardest decisions a game developer can make. And despite we think it's the right decision for the game, we'd still like to apologize for making you wait longer. Our intention is to make Cyberpunk 2077 something that will stay with you for years to come. In the end, we hope you understand why we did what we did. There's a little bit more to that, but they are confirming that Cyberpunk 2077 will still be having its Night City Wire presentation on June 25th. That's just in a couple of days. And that previews of Cyberpunk 2077 will be including,
Hang on.
this is from
You got a major hiccup.
Cool. Um, so they've delayed the game, and then they've also announced that there is something called the Night City Wire presentation, which is going to take place on June 25th, which is just in a few days. So, and then following that, there will be some previews from different news sites going up. So there's that, and then they also said, which I think is part of the reason why they delayed, but I'm only speculating. They tweeted out a couple days ago, pretty much like the day after they announced the delay, that they tweeted, "We are happy to confirm that Cyberpunk 2077 will be backwards compatible with both next-gen consoles. Your PS4 copy of the game will work on PS5 on launch day. Anyone who buys the game on Xbox One will be able to play their copy on Xbox Series X when the console launches as well."
Yeah.
So that's a lot of news right there for for people who are anticipating the game. Josh, what's your read on 2077? Well, how have you been feeling about that game?
I'm cautiously uh, viewing it from the sidelines. The Witcher 3 was not a game that really spoke to me. I tried to get into it, just one of those, just not my kind of games. It seems like it would have
Mm-hmm.
been. I think it was just too dense, and I got into it a little
Sure.
late. Um, this looks very interesting, a very nitty gritty um, kind of like the super nerdy kind of RPGs,
Mm-hmm.
and
I mean, that's what it's based off of,
yeah,
right?
it's based off the tabletop Cyberpunk 2077. So, I mean, I'm very interested. CD Projekt Red is known for their attention to detail as well as their consumer-friendly practices. So, if they need a delay, I don't think anybody who is a fan of CD Projekt Red will be upset because they know it'll just end up being a better uh, product at the end. The only thing I find funny is just a few weeks ago, towards the beginning of this pandemic, they said they were all set and ready for the release date they had set, and it seemed pretty clear to me that they were just being optimistic.
Yeah.
Because transitioning to having to work from home was probably going to take a little bit longer than they anticipated.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been, maybe it's because of the energy behind the game from other fans
Hmm.
that makes me really excited to want to play it, especially because I don't really. I mean, I've watched the trailers, I've seen the stuff about it, but I personally haven't really like done my research for it. But like my roommate, that's like his most anticipated game of the year. He's like, can't wait for Cyberpunk. He does a Cyberpunk D&D style game.
Okay.
He's all about it. He loves like Alien, and he loves like, in my mind, it all rolls together. Anyway, I think it's definitely. I think I'm definitely going to get it. I think it's definitely cool that they're like just taking the curtain away and being like, you'll be able to play it on your next gen console. I think that's really cool of them. I know that it was all but confirmed that they would, but now that they said it out loud, and
Now,
I know that. Go ahead.
I wonder if that means, they said your PS4 copy will play on the PS5 and vice versa. But they also mentioned in the past that um, you'll get the PS or the Xbox Series X version of it with the smart delivery when it launches, and
Mhm.
it made it seem like the Xbox Series X version wouldn't necessarily launch at the launch of the console. So I wonder if that means you could get the backwards compatible. It'll just work, but it won't necessarily be the next gen versions with the upgraded visual packages or what have you.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, so if we dissect this tweet for a second, there's a couple things I noticed that when you're looking for language, that's what we got. So to go with the Xbox One, right quick, it says anyone who buys the game on Xbox One will be able to play their copy on Xbox Series X when the console launches too. So that's definitely saying, I think it's like their copy will play their copy of the Xbox One's version on the Series X.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that means that you'll be able to take the disc and put it in, or if you have a save file. But the other thing I noticed is it says your PS4 copy of the game will work on PS5 on launch day.
Right.
Now here's the thing: is launch day November 19th, and does that mean the PS5 comes out before the 19th or on the 19th? Because is the thing is, like, why didn't they just say both your PS4 copy and your Xbox One copy? Why didn't they just say when those versions are ready, it'll be available on
Well, because
those consoles?
that
And instead, they divided them in half. It said the PS4 will be blah 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 on launch day, but this one will be when the console launches. So to me, it says on launch day, Cyberpunk will be all ready to play on PS5, and the Xbox Series X will not be out yet. I think that's what that means. I could be reading into it. I could be completely wrong, but I
yeah, that
bet
might
you
be reading into it
PS5 comes out
just a little
before.
bit, but no, I would. I
It's
mean,
fun.
that's a different conversation, but I would guess that PS5 is going to beat Series X to market. Um, but yeah, I mean, that is an interesting viewpoint. I think it's just more you're reading into it a little too heavy. I just think they're trying to be cagey because they can't reveal when the consoles are coming out, and so
Hmm.
they're saying you can play these versions on the consoles when the consoles launch.
Right. I think the fact that they split them up and not say you will be able to play them on both consoles when the console launches.
Sure.
Like, why not group them? But anyway.
Anyway.
So that's the first big news of the day. Josh, you want to take us through EA Play?
Sure. Yeah. There's a whole bunch from the EA Play last week. Um, Presentation wise, we thought it was kind of wishy washy. It wasn't that exciting, which EA plays are never very exciting. You're usually waiting for
Sure.
one or two things to excite you, and they tend to be like, okay, well that's the thing.
Yeah. I
Um,
will say I think it's better than last year's EA Play, because last year's EA Play was just an update on like 4 or 5 games. At least this one was like more paced out. I mean, I
yeah,
don't know. I don't know if I necessarily want to say better, but like it did different. It had different objectives, and I
sure,
think I like this objective more. But I do think like ultimately I'm like, oh, okay, well, none of these things super interest me. But anyway,
yeah.
go ahead.
All right, to go through the rundown, Apex Legends is coming to Switch this fall, along with total crossplay, so you can play across again, just like it sounds. Switch, PS4, Xbox, and PC. So
Yeah.
look forward to that. Sims 4 is coming to Steam. Previously, it was only available through Origin. Uh, It Takes Two from I'm going to say his name, Joseph Fares, the guy from who did Brothers and The Way Out. He's got a new game coming out, and it's uh, he's trying to like combine the emotions with gameplay. These two like dolls come to life, and
Mm.
have their own sets of emotions, and that's kind of how like you control them both, just like in Brothers, and play the game like that. And this was a quote he said at the end of the video. He's like, "It's like a roller coaster that doesn't end. Well, it has an ending, but that ending is the roller coaster crashes and takes you way up into the sky and releases you into outer space. And then when you get there, you say, 'What the fuck am I doing here?' And then maybe you come back down to earth." And that's the best way to describe it. It Takes Two, actually. And I had to include that because it was just this guy is a national treasure.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, which nation, that's to be seen. No one really is claiming him right at the moment.
Right,
I think
right.
he's French or something like that.
No, he was born in Beirut. I watched this. It's the thing started when him talking about his life, and he'd made a few full feature length movies that were, one of them was about like him growing up in Beirut, and he tried
mm,
moving to Sweden 5 times until they finally accepted him. He's like, and
wow.
he's like, and that was a good thing for them because I've done a lot for Sweden. So
That's funny.
yeah, he's a
I mean,
hilarious
the shame is
individual.
I've not played either of his other. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying the shame is I haven't actually played either of the other games yet. A Way Out actually looked pretty good. Brothers, I didn't know about it at the time. A Way Out actually looks pretty good. So I just want to get my hands on that. And It Takes Two I haven't watched, but I mean he's got a thing going on.
Hmm.
It's co-op, couch co-op, multiplayer,
Yeah.
whole thing,
Um,
story mode.
I played a bit of Brothers. I didn't get all the way through it, but it was an interesting way to play a game. Because basically you use the each joystick was a different was each of the brothers, and that's how you played it.
Oh, okay, interesting, cool.
Um, Next up is Lost in Random. This was like as if Tim Burton created a video game. It was a 3D action adventure. There might be some platforming elements, but uh, very like just so Tim Burton. It was even the narration was very silly and brooding, and so I'm very interested to see where that goes. If that's any good, because it looks fun. Like it had this anthropomorphic dice,
Mm,
and like it was
interesting.
just like a single die actually, and it talked, and it was weird.
Okay,
Uh,
weird games are in this year.
yeah, this one, next one, Rocket Arena, which to me looks like just another hero battle arena, Fortnite art style. It's 3v3, silly, comical voiceovers, and it looks pretty generic to me. But reading through IGN, they said it was more like Smash. Basically, the premise is you shoot rockets at each other, um,
Mm,
and instead of like just blowing each other up with rockets, you build up a meter to blast them away. So they said
hmm.
it seemed pretty fun, and so we'll see.
Yeah.
Uh, I think probably the biggest or second biggest, for me, the biggest news was the Star Wars Squadrons. They detailed that a little bit more. We saw the trailer for it a couple days before the EA Play went live, and then they detailed it further at EA Play that it's a 5v5 multiplayer game with a single player story. The single player story is written by the same guys who wrote the Battlefront 2 storyline, which I thought,
Mm,
I mean, it got a lot of slack for the storyline, but I thought it was a fairly decent one. There was some things that seemed a bit shoehorned in, over bearing, you know, Star Wars overlords, Disney overlords, kind of making things happen instead of letting the authors really write, or the writers have some freedom. But I'm
Sure,
hoping
sure.
that this one does, and
Hmm.
I think they saw with the backlash to the last story. I'm hoping they give them a little bit more freedom on this one.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't expect a super heavy storyline or anything. I would just
yeah. No, it definitely seems multiplayer focused, and I think it's really trying to hit home the like flying mechanics. It's like I
yeah,
remember you used to play on the old computer, or at least maybe you wanted to play at one point, like the Jedi, not Jedi Fighter, but like
Rogue Squadron.
when they're like Rogue Squadron.
hmm I think it was
Yeah.
Rogue Squadron. I tried to play. I could never get. The one I remember specifically was, of course, they've done the Hoth scene in just about every Star Wars
Hmm.
video game ever made. But you were trying to pilot the snow speeder, and I could not get the towed cable to attach to the AT-AT, and
Oh, yeah.
I remember that being a problem. But so I'm excited about that. We'll see that coming October 2nd this year. So that's pretty close.
Pretty soon.
Yeah. Um, oh, and the story it's supposed to take place after Return of the Jedi, so it'll be probably at the beginnings of the new or the First Order and the New Republic. So
Cool.
EA Sports is coming. That's you know all of them have stuff coming up. That's no
Yeah.
surprise ever. They teased the next gen with Criterion working on a racing game. Surprise, BioWare working on something fantasy like, and Dice working on shooting stuff. None of those were
Yeah.
surprises, and none of those were like fully revealed. So cool.
Right.
And then lastly, to probably the biggest surprise because people have been asking for it for years and years and years. Skate 4 is coming. Uh,
Well, let's see. They didn't say it was Skate 4. That's a big thing. They just said a new Skate is
a
coming.
new Skate is coming.
Uh,
That's right.
well, because there's been talks of Skate coming to mobile, and I'm like, well, if that's how they're getting away with this, then a lot of people will be upset. But I think the proper sequel.
Yeah, I can't imagine them doing this one last thing and it being a mobile game. That would be, Blizzard levels of stupidity. So, um, but I think to me it read like uh, Beyond Good and Evil when they first revealed that. They were basically saying, "Hey, we're going to start working on this game very soon. Here's a
Yeah.
mock-up of something." Here, we didn't even get a mock-up. It was almost like,
No.
"Oh man, Tony Hawk's coming back. We need to bring Skate back. So hey, you guys, you
Yeah.
all want to work on Skate again? Well, yeah, we've been trying. All right, let's do it. You get on the video call." So they're
Yeah.
like,
Honestly, it kind of
yeah,
felt like it was like, hey, last minute, we need something.
yeah. So I would not expect anything from that for quite some time, but
Yeah.
it's happening.
So I thought the EA conference overall was, like I said, meh. Like, but what was I think most disappointing about it isn't so much like there's something here for enough people, I guess. Um, the Apex is cool, whatever. Star Wars, sports, whatever. What I liked about the presentation, at least in terms of the sports, is that they rolled it all into one instead of having a separate thing for football and then another thing for football,
Right.
soccer. Um, and
Football.
instead they're just like, cool, sports. They realize people don't care about that anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't even think they should have brought up next gen if they didn't have something to say. And the fact that they had nothing to say for
Anything.
um, anything, they didn't like. I think Dragon Age. Wait, Dragon Age is Bioware. Never mind. What is the? Oh no, yeah, I was right. Yeah, I think Dragon Age is like the thing that they announced the longest ago. That because I'm pretty sure they've announced a Dragon Age 4. because I remember the people I was watching who were super excited about it. Oh, that was what's his face from Dragon Age 2 or whatever, and so I definitely think um, they're waiting on another Dragon Age.
Yeah.
It just seems
Well, we do
like
know.
they didn't have anything I was about to say they didn't have any Star Wars. They had one Star Wars game which is cool, and they didn't have but they didn't have another Battlefield to announce. Battlefield's been quiet for ever since they rolled out that Firestorm Battle Royale that didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like they've been super dead. So and the only thing out of this that looks significant to me after Squadrons, and we didn't play Skate growing up, so like that's not necessarily to us, but I'm excited for people to, would probably be Joseph Ferris's thing. It Takes Two.
Yeah.
The whole thing that they made, like the Sims thing, was like 4 or 5 minutes of this thing that all was to announce that it's coming to Origin,
Yeah.
and that they're going to announce something later this summer. Now the video they had in front was cool. They had like this nice message to it or whatever, but like, and that was really cool that it was there, but it didn't seem necessary.
Right.
I thought, oh, are they going to announce Sims 5, or are they going to do like the Sims Online? Sims Online would be cool, like if we could, whatever. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So that's EA Play. That's this last couple weeks were kind of like E3 in a way. So
Yeah.
that's nice. That's nice.
That's nice.
But what's even nicer is that Pokemon is coming back, and by coming back, I mean there's more Pokemon to be had.
Yep.
So last week there was an announcement that they are finally bringing back the hotly anticipated game, Pokemon Snap. It is
Yep.
coming to Switch. It is. They're gonna expand, and you should expect a wide variety of different generations and environments. And I remember playing Pokemon Snap on the N64, and I honestly don't remember much of it other than it being a weird, cool, fun game.
Yep.
I'm surprised that this isn't a mobile game. Like this isn't a game to download on your phone and go with Pokemon Go or something like that. Use
Yeah.
your AR and be like, oh, take a picture of this instead of catching Pokemon, just taking pictures of him. But I'm excited. I'm probably gonna get it, even though I think I'm getting it for the memes more so than I am for the game itself.
Sure.
I'm
Well,
like,
I mean, I really enjoyed Pokemon Snap back in the day. That it was really cool to see what they see where they would put these Pokemon in the wild.
yeah,
Because even watching the anime, it wasn't like really focused. It wasn't a safari like show. It was more about the characters, less about the Pokemon and themselves. And so seeing these Pokemon interact in the wild, where I always thought was more interesting, and seeing what they would do here with a with better graphics and hardware. Well, it'll be fun.
yeah.
The coolest thing was if
Um,
you hit everything in all the like special things in Pokemon Snap, you would unlock Mew at the end, and you could take pictures of Mew.
oh, that's cool. They'll probably have stuff like that, like
Yeah.
unlockables and. They also announced Pokemon Cafe Mix, which is a free to start puzzle game. I actually didn't watch this,
I
so I'm
didn't
not quite
either.
sure. Pokemon Smile is a new toothbrushing app for kids or adults who don't know how to brush their teeth. And I have not downloaded this yet, but I do have friends on Twitter that have, and it's kind of funny to see their thing. I heard on one of the tweets from Gary Whitta, the writer of Rogue One. He's on podcasts and stuff. Was that his kid's using it, um, and that it's working a lot. And you get to collect pictures of Pokemon as you do it and stuff. So I mean, that's cute. I
Yeah.
think what's interesting, Nintendo and Pokemon have always been like about taking care of yourself, whether it's walking with Pokemon Go, or you have to physically walk to unlock the eggs, or
Yeah, they've always
linking
done
with
like a
your
pedometer
friends.
or something.
So I mean, it's just another thing to like help you. And didn't they announce Pokemon Sleep 2 a couple months ago, or maybe last year, which is I think a sleep clock to help you. So like
Yeah.
they have you when you sleep, they have you when you brush your teeth, they have you when you're going on your walks, and then they also have you playing the game. So pretty much
It's
you can
like
commit your entire life to Pokemon if you want
yeah, it's like Pokemon Bagel Bites. Pokemon in the morning,
it.
Pokemon in the evening, and Pokemon at supper time.
And speaking of summertime, the last big announcement is that there's an announcement coming on June
Supper
24th.
time.
Oh, I heard summertime. Anyway, uh, there's a there's a new Pokemon announcement coming on June 24th, which again, just a few days away. So next week's Ware Gaming news is going to be even more packed with Cyberpunk news and with Pokemon. So please be excited
Yeah.
for that. Before we go, we wanted to let you know about The Last of Us. Josh, you've been playing. What do you think about it?
So I started it just the other day, and I'm just floored by how detailed this game is. Um, they're doing something really special with this, and it's clear. Looking at the current Metacritic, it scored a 95 out of 100, um, and I don't think that's a crowded score,
Yeah.
not
Um,
numbered score there. So that's a really good number. Of course, it's early on, and we'll see how it nets out towards the end of the year. But so far in the first hour and a half or two of playing this game, I haven't played anything like it.
that's awesome. Um, what was I going to say? Apparently, me and Josh don't really know anything about this personally, and maybe we'll learn more. I'm being radio silent, other than what Josh just said, just because I haven't had time and don't have time for another couple days to play the game. But we've been hearing about some review bombing and for it. And granted, if it's being review bombed, they're not doing a great job because it's still at a 95. Of
Well,
course, people are allowed to have an opinion about it, and people are allowed to know. But I'm not quite sure what this is about, Josh.
so I don't know what it's about specifically, or because I'm not going to read the reviews until I beat the game. But so the critic score is 95. The user score is like a 30.
Oh, oh, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't. Oh, that's how that works. I forgot.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the user score has about 17,000 reviews, and it's sitting at a 30 on Metacritic. It's just broken. People are mad at Naughty Dog for either the leaks or the story aspect or the fact that Ellie is a lesbian, or like it just for some reason people are mad. Probably because it's going to be the
Because
most popular game this year, and
mhm,
uh, people are blaming you know that they're blaming Xbox fanboys, which I don't. That it just seems like 17,000 people to just go review bomb a game because it's not on the Xbox. There's dozens of games that are on Xbox. That doesn't make sense. So
yeah.
I'm not
So
gonna
anyway,
give
that's just
I'm
something to keep
not
in
gonna give
mind.
it too much of my mind share because
Yeah,
whatever. I think the game's
yeah.
incredible so far. So
But along that, we wanted to kind of try out a new segment for the show before we wrap up. So right now, I think I literally thought about it, but about a second before we went live.
yeah,
So um, this isn't the most perfect way to do it, but this is how we're going to do it today. So eventually, what it'll be is I'm going to try to do the top 10 best reviewed games on Metacritic of the past week. Right now, since I just thought about it, I can only find the best 10 of the last 90 days. When I do more research every week, I'll actually look for the the bookended weeks. But for now, The Last of Us Part 2 is at a 95, and it is the number one, which is actually joined by the second one, which is Persona 5 Royal. So I'm sure there's one and two because The Last of Us just came out,
hmm
and I wonder if the user reviews have something to do with its placement as well. The number one and number two, both scores are 95, is The Last of Us Part 2 and Persona 5 Royal, which I think is pretty incredible, especially for the fact that it's just a re-release. Well, not just a release, but it's a re-released game.
yeah.
Um, Coming up at number three is Half-Life Alex for the
Wow,
PC. Yeah, at a 93. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition got an 89. Again, that's a Switch exclusive. No, false, not a Switch exclusive, but it did recently come to the Switch.
nice,
Legends of Runeterra got 87. That's number five.
weird.
Number six, Final Fantasy VII Remake got
Ah,
an 87.
wow.
Number seven is Super Mega Baseball 3.
Okay.
which on Switch for 87. Um, number 8 is a game called Hunt Down, which also got an 87. Number 9 is Persona 4 Golden at 86. Now, that just recently got a port to PC,
Oh, okay.
which would be why. And then coming in at number 10 for the last 90 days is Streets of Rage 4 at a number 86.
Wow.
Out of those games, I definitely want to try Persona 5 Royal at some point. I would love to try Half-Life Alyx if I had the correct VR setup. And, I've heard a lot of people talk about Streets of Rage 4, especially like on GameScoop. They talk about that game. If I ever get bored of The Last of Us or Ghost of Tsushima or Cyberpunk or any of the other games I'm trying to play, then I will definitely give that a shot.
Sure.
But that's our
That's
show
cool.
for the week. I'm sorry, I cut Josh off.
I was just saying that was cool. That was a neat segment. I'd like to see that, especially once we confine it down to just the games that came out this week. Like,
Yeah,
how do they stack up against each other? That will
yeah.
help
It is kind of like
us.
a reverse of the out this week. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
cool.
so great. Well, that's our show. Thank you for tuning in. Again, this is Ware Gaming News. Every week we recap the prior week's news. I don't know a cleaner way to say what that is. Again, my name is Nick. If you want to hear more about me and my life, you can follow me at Speak Nicklish.
And you can follow me at Jaws1015. You can follow the channel at WareGaming_. And then until next time for Ware Gaming Weekly, say goodbye, Nick.
Goodbye, Nick.